Hey everybody, this is Triumware412 taking a look at the game You Say You Want a Revolution, played on webdiplomacy.net. I played as England. My plan from the beginning was to try to start a Western Triple. That's an alliance between England and France and Germany. And so I would take in the first year Belgium and Norway, and then I would move across the top against Russia, as England usually does in that alliance. At this point, looking to collapse in on Germany by surprise, taking my last centers from him, which would put me at 18 there, and we will see how that worked out for me. Alright, as we started off, I was fairly certain that I had convinced Germany and France to go with the triple, which is good. I move my units accordingly. And so you see here in the fall of 01, the first year, I do move into Norway and I move into Belgium. Germany takes Holland and Denmark, France takes Portugal, Spain, and so we have, I suppose, a perfect start for a Western Triple, where at the end of the first year the three of us have 5 centers each, so a good equal footing. And in that fall I actually build 2 fleets. Normally you'd see maybe 1 fleet in an army or something like that. So that England can start pumping armies over the top into Russia. But I decided to build the extra fleet, and that actually comes in handy. So my 5 units now are 4 fleets in 1 army. We move in 02. I move against Russia. Germany moves against kind of Austria, Russia here in the center. France's moves in the spring, not terribly certain what he's doing one way or the other. This fleet moves out into the mid-Atlantic, this one down into the Gulf of Lyon, and this one stays put. So we're not certain if he's going to try to stab me, what he's doing. But in the fall, our fears are kind of put down because he does end up moving into the Mediterranean, and he surrounds Tunis here, so he gets himself in a pretty good spot to start fighting Italy as well. So the first 2 years see our Western Triple off to a good start. A little retreat there, and I do start building armies, you see here, at the end of the second year. Sometime in 03, I believe it was in the fall, but I am not certain, I haven't gone back to check, one of the other nations calls out our alliance. He says, hey, Western Triple, I think he called it EFG, England, France, Germany, is in the works. Actually, I guess it was in the spring now that I think about it. But you see here in the fall, the other 4 nations continue to fight with one another. Normally, if a large alliance like this pops up this early on especially, the best thing you can do as the other nations is band together and try to stop that group from dominating the map. But you see here, even after they called it out, they're still fighting with one another. Russia and Turkey attacking Italy, Austria here also attacking Italy, Italy attacking Austria. So they can't really fight amongst themselves and fight us off at the same time. So we encountered very little resistance. You saw down here France taking out Italian territory. Here you see Germany and myself taking Russian territory, and that is just going to continue. You see in the spring of 04 and then on into the fall, we continue to make progress moving down through Russia, moving into Austria's kind of neutral centers, or neutral territories here, surrounding Italy. About the only person doing well besides our triple alliance is Turkey, because we just haven't reached him yet. Germany specifically is progressing really well. You remember I said at the beginning my plan was to surround Germany and then stab him. And so I was getting a little concerned at this point that he was going to be too big to stab later on, but I'm not quite in a position to do that yet, so I guess it wasn't a huge concern. You might remember another game I played. I was in a Western Triple as Germany, and I purposely hung up England in this particular position. Well, I ended up playing England this time hung up in the exact same place in the exact same way, with Turkey supporting Russian units from behind, and there was nothing that I could really do about it. So here in 05, I actually stall, and I do not regain momentum until 07. So I'll kind of progress here. You'll see France eliminating Italy, Germany moving into Austrian territory. So they're getting builds and I am not gaining any ground. Finally, at the end of 06, I get support towards Romania, but then that is held off. So in 06 I still get nothing. And then in 07 I take Romania and position myself to get Sevastopol. So finally a build in 07 after I haven't gotten one since 04. And now I'm really concerned about Germany. You see how large he has gotten, and I have not been gaining ground hardly at all. So I do finally get into Sevastopol. We continue to advance, and because we were not resisted by a united front, we're just mowing through the rest of the nations here. In 09, I have built the army from 08, and I decide to leave that army in Yorkshire here on my home island rather than pumping it over into Russia, and that ends up being a really good plan. You see here in 1910, as we move into that year, Turkey was really on the ropes. He was about to go down, but then France decides to stab. He attacks Germany here in Serbia, positions himself to hit Trieste in the fall, and also moves over into position to take Belgium from me in the fall as well. Not sure what his thinking was. Of course, I assume he was going for the solo, thought that he could get the solo victory. However, if he had waited until he had taken these two Turkish centers, he might have been in a better position to do that. But he does not. He does take a few centers from Germany and I. But you see in 11, we have a solid defense here. These two units fall back so that we can create an even more solid defense. Even with his two fleet builds, we outnumber him in the water 5-3. Up here, most of his fleets are down in the Mediterranean still. So those 4 fleets I had built at the beginning end up paying off. We're able to push those fleets into position, knock him out of English Channel here in the fall, and get ourselves in position in the spring of 12 to take Belgium back, forcing him to retreat. Even though he has attacked Turkey down here, taken Smyrna from him, he's just not in the position he thought he would be in to take the solo victory. And so after he tries a couple times in the spring and in the fall of this year, he is forced to accept a draw with not just Germany and I, as it originally would have been, a 3-way draw unless one of us had stabbed for the win. Now he has to accept the draw with Turkey involved as well. So the game came to a 4-way draw. Germany, myself, and Turkey, knowing that if any of us stabbed, we wouldn't be able to solo. So we ended up forcing a stalemate where France couldn't gain the 18 he wanted. So not exactly what I was going for. I got part way there. You see my surrounding Germany, but I was never in a good position to stab him and go for the win myself. So a stalemate draw, not a bad game, a lot of fun. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them, and thanks for watching.